Hi, Joyce. How are you?
I'm fine.
You're doing all right? All right. Well, I'm excited to see you this week. Tell me a little bit about how your weekend was.
It was okay. I just stayed at home and you know, my parents aren't letting me like do anything on my electronics. So it's been kind of boring, but it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. I can tell that you're feeling maybe just a little bit down this week. Am I picking up on that right, or am I totally off?
Well, I just feel bored, I guess, because my parents won't let me um socialize with people outside of our house, and so
Yeah.
it's not fun. It's not
I
fun to
can
be
I can
here.
see how that might be a little bit boring and how it could be a little bit difficult for sure. So, yeah. Well, hey, I wanted to check in with you. I know that last week we had a pretty in-depth conversation. You mentioned to me that you've been having some thoughts of suicide. So we talked quite a bit about that last week, and I wanted to check in with you to see how you're doing this week as far as if those thoughts have popped back up, or just in general how you're doing.
Um, I I wouldn't say the thoughts have popped back up, but I do keep thinking about why I why I was so sad, and I keep thinking about why it didn't really work. Just
Okay.
because I guess it's like if you go through something bad, then you keep wondering how close to death you really were. And I guess I decided that, you know, I didn't really want to die, but my situation still feels basically the same.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you telling me that. And so what I'm hearing is that maybe these thoughts haven't been popping up as much, but the situation that got you to having those thoughts of suicide is kind of still the same. And so there's not been much progress in that regard. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so can I ask you a clarifying question real fast?
Hmm.
Okay. And so you made a comment just barely about how you're kind of in this situation and you weren't really sure why it didn't work. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you meant by that?
Well, I thought that if I took enough of the medication that I wouldn't be able to. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I didn't think that. I guess maybe I thought that I would just pass out and not wake up, but that's not what happened.
Okay. And so catch me up to speed. Okay. So for the purposes of this assignment, I'm just gonna pretend like we already talked exclusively about like whether or not you were hospitalized or anything like that. And I'm gonna fast forward to asking you about when thinking about that situation and thinking about how it didn't work, have you been having thoughts about you wish that it did work, or are you happy it didn't? What are your thoughts and feelings regarding that?
Um, I I mean, I guess I'm happy that it didn't work, but so I guess it means it was just like being impulsive. But but life's still the same. I haven't changed anything, and my family's still acting the same, and everything still feels the same, except, I mean, I realize I didn't really want to die, but I just don't know what to do now.
I hear you. Well, thank you so much, Joyce, for being able to open up with me and express to me kind of what you're going through. And I do have hope that we can work together in this therapy journey and that we can get you to a place where you are experiencing more happiness. And I do truly hope that things can get better. And I believe they can. I've seen it work in others, and it may not be an overnight thing, but we'll work together in order to get you on the path to healing, and to where you can really truly be enjoying life and not just kind of surviving it, right? But truly living and enjoying it. And so there are a couple of things that I'd love to be able and to empower you with. Like I said, we're gonna get on this path to journey or this path to healing together. But I think it's really important to kind of address as well, what can we do in those moments when things are tough, right? And like you kind of mentioned, it was kind of like this, almost like an impulse, right? You were experiencing so much emotion, and you kind of felt this impulse to take all of that medication. And so there is a skill that I have, that might be able to help empower you to be able um, to get through those hard moments. I refer to them as crisis moments. Would you be interested in learning a skill like that to be able to help you next time it gets really rough?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so the skill that I'm going to teach you comes from a type of therapy that's called DBT. And the skill is called TIP. And so there's just three simple things that you can do when you find yourself feeling really overwhelmed, or like a crisis moment is coming on, or that it already has come on. And so just three simple, things that you can do. And so the first one, it's an acronym, right? So the first letter is T. And so for T, that stands for tipping the temperature. Something that you can do when, you find yourself being really overwhelmed is just throwing some cold water on your face or holding a cold ice cube on your neck. And that coldness kind of creates a reaction where it kind of like shocks you out of that, state of being, and you can kind of come back to your senses a little bit. So T is for tipping the temperature. And I have a handout as well that I can make sure to get to you as well. And yeah, usually I have you here in my office. I'd give you a handout, but I'll be sure to email it to you so that you can print it off at home as well and have it this week. But yeah, so T for tipping the temperature. And then I stands for intense exercise. And so intense exercise, going out and going for like a run or going and doing like some jump rope or something to get your heart beat up, right? You get that adrenaline pumping.
Yeah,
And
that sounds more like something I would do.
yeah, okay, perfect. It seems like you like to exercise.
Yeah, I do. I like
Perfect.
I like to box a lot.
Awesome. And boxing is perfect for being able to get that heart rate up, right? It's quite the workout. So.
I am glad that you had something else because I was like cold shower and ice. That's not something. Not
Yes.
something to do that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the great thing is that, there are so many skills that we can fall on because not every skill is going to work for every person, right? And so it's great to learn about multiple different things so that you can choose for yourself, like, oh, yeah, I feel like that one would be would work really well for me. So yeah, you might want to try like the ice cube on your neck and just kind of see how it works for you. And that way you can confirm, like, oh yeah, like that definitely was not for me. Or you can be pleasantly surprised and go, oh yeah, like I kind of did like how that affected me. But I appreciate your insight in going like, oh yeah, I know that this exercise one is going to work for me. So
I can imagine like doing the ice cube as, and then just like it would become like a joke. Like I would just be laughing about it, which I guess would change the moment, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something I would do.
all right, perfect. And maybe it's one of those things that there's a better fit for you, right? And so, yeah, so the intense exercise, getting out, and usually experts will recommend getting out and getting about 20 minutes of exercise, getting those endorphins up, your adrenaline up, right? Getting the blood pumping through your body. And so, yeah, just about 20 minutes of exercise. And then, oh, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I don't know why my screen all of a sudden disappeared. Can you still see me?
Yes.
You can still see me. Okay, perfect. I don't know why I can't see you, but we're just going to continue on. Um, and so the very last one is P, which stands for paced breathing. Have you ever engaged in any breathing exercises before?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. How did you feel like it worked for you?
It's helpful. Like when I run, I focus on my breathing.
Okay, perfect. Um, well, yeah, so you can definitely, engage in a paced breathing exercise. There's tons of different ones that you can try, and I can tell you a little bit more about the different breathing exercises. Not everybody loves every exercise, right? And again, kind of coming back to the fact that there are so many out there that you can kind of choose which one you think is going to be best for you. Um, and so one of the things that you can do is box breathing. I know that we kind of went over that a little bit in our last session. And another thing that I personally find works better for me is just a nice, relaxed, like breathing in really deep. For me, if I hold my breath, it increases my anxiety. So rather than holding my breath, I kind of just pause for about a second and then I breathe out really nice and relaxed. And that helps my body to be able to just enter into a state of calm. And so I invite you to test out a few of them and just kind of see what works best for you and what you like most. So, anyway, what are some of your thoughts that have to do with what I've just told you about this tip exercise?
Um, so T was temperature, I was intense exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and P was what was P?
Paced breathing.
Paced breathing.
Yep.
um, well, the temperature one seems weird, but the intense exercise and the paced breathing sounds like helpful.
Perfect. All right. And so do you think that during this week that you could take, an opportunity to just give it a try and see how it works for you? And then next week you can let me know how it went?
Yeah, if I can remember.
Okay. Perfect. And you can even, talk with one of your parents and just say, hey, can you help remind me to do my tip exercise as well? Mm.
Oh, am I supposed to just tell them about it?
You can tell them about it. It's up to you if you want to tell them about it or not. So, yeah. And then in a typical session, I would not end it right here and I would keep talking, about and try to tailor it towards the client and help to wrap it up better. But I'm already a couple minutes over time. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. But yeah, so thanks, Joyce, for helping me out.
You're welcome.